talk about your team here, and I'm staring over at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got 10 trophies over there, pieces of hardware from the years. Just racking them up. Good job, by the way. Racking them up.
Thank you.
Racking them up. And, obviously you've had an amazing team here to help you do it. You mentioned a little bit about the team. What is it about this place that attracts, darn near 800 members on a consistent basis all the time? What's that secret? Like, if you were coaching other Burn Boot Camp or other business owners in general, or people that aspire, what's the secret sauce?
I mean, I think from my standpoint as a leader is I always wanted to be the boss I didn't have, right? Like, I always wanted to be, I want my team to look at me and be like, I work with Holly. Like, it's cool and it's great. And like, she treats me good and she takes care of me. And like, to me, that was so important to me to have that. But I think from like a standpoint of what connects everybody, like, this community is something like I've never seen before. They have each other's backs. Like, I mean, I read a post yesterday of a member who her husband had recently got diagnosed with cancer. I was actually her ex-husband. So anyways, she was talking about how she came to camp and the 630 girls all had he had passed away. And when she came back in, they had all these gift cards and flowers and brought her food and all kinds of stuff. It's just, you don't find that anywhere you go. So I would just say this community, it attracts you, because as we get older, we don't find that. And you move to a new city and you're like, what are you gonna do? Go to Target and be like, hi, my name's Holly, nice to meet you, right? Like, this is a great way to meet people. I actually probably would do that.
Yeah, you would. You'd recruit them.
But I'd be like, do you wanna be my friend?
Yeah.
But
it definitely sucks you in, like Burn does in general, but you have another level to that. I mean, in every organization or every, let's just say like every sports, environment, there's always the gym or the business or the team that's going to be in first place. And there's always going to be one in last place. And that's not a good or a bad thing. That's just the reality of it. And so, to put you consistently, at either the biggest or the second biggest gym in the entire country, when now we're up to 401, the simplicity in what you're saying is what I pick up on. Like, it isn't necessarily something that's secret. It's just caring a lot. I mean, but I'm not going to lie. Like, I know imposter syndrome is a very real thing. Like, it's something you're like, do I deserve to be here? Like, what did I do that's so special? It's easy to get that way. And I think that I'm cool talking about it because I think that's just the way that the society is. It's just where we are. So there's times I'm like, I don't know what I did. Like, did I walk into a pot of gold? But I do know that I'm gonna always show up and be the best I can be and be the best friend, boss, wife, mom that I can possibly be. Because I know that, like, we all need that. We need that human connection. Yeah. When we go through tough times, everybody looks to the leader, and that's when you know whether you've built trust or not. Because people, if they don't have the answer, like, let's say during like an obvious thing like the pandemic or something like that, people, they look, when they don't know the answer, they'll look to the person they trust the most, right? And they'll look right to you. And that's really when you know if you're a leader or not. Like, when what hits the fan. Yeah. It's like, okay, Holly, what are we going to do? Yeah. And you're like, me? Yeah. Looking at me?
Okay,
it's like,
I get to call the shots.
Well, you've earned it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a privilege to be a leader, but you're also in a position where you've got to now make the decisions. Yeah. Right? And you get this blessing and a curse of doing so. And it seems just like you follow your heart a lot. Maybe you can have a couple words about that. It's just about like listening to your heart, in a organization or being in a business where you can use your head a lot and you can look at the logistics and the KPIs and all the data and all the things. It's like, what this is really about is just loving on people and following your heart, right? Isn't it?
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's, you know, with my leadership team, like it's funny because, you know, I tend to be that way. Like I tend to be very like much like I'm going to lead with my heart. And I hope she's okay with me saying this, but Natalie is a little bit more black and white.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, there's times that I wouldn't say butt heads, but like she'll challenge me.
Yeah.
And I do need that. Like, and cause people ask like, how do you get your staff? How did you get the people you have? I mean, my biggest advice, you hire your weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
You hire people for things that you're not good at in your business. And I always tell her like, don't change. I need you that way because I need someone that like, I can check you. I need someone that's going to check me if like, okay, but yes, you're people first, but this is a business, right? And like, you know, but like following your heart. But there are times I'm like, hey, this is a non-negotiable for me. And this is how I strongly feel about something. And then Sam kind of gets to be a little bit of the mediator between the two of us at times, which it's very fun. I will say that like, it's a cool dynamic to see the three of us, but, I think, yeah, leading with your heart, but like also just people first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like people first, like give people grace. Like life isn't easy.
Yeah. And speaking of that, we are getting ready to throw down tomorrow for the Mark of Excellence event. The first one, another thing you're pioneering. And I think there's a few hundred people signed up just for the first
it's gonna be
camps
awesome.
or the 4 camps in the morning. And so we brought the whole crew down here. The burn book is going to be a part of the event.
So excited for that.
Yeah, you painted the letters. Check out the letters; those are sick. Yeah, I cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun. Sam gets to lead the 7 a.m.
Yep.
And you know, every great leader needs to have their other star players around them. Sam has been that for you, and I just wanted to give you a chance to touch on that. We're obviously going into tomorrow, but then after tomorrow. We're coming up, we're coming up on a couple months here of, like some specific themes going into the end of the year. We did push-up themes so far. We're doing AMRAP right now. And so, just give me give me some sentiment around how important it is to have trainers that are on the floor that can take the mic from you. Cause you're a trainer like I am by heart. And I know our heart will always be there, but you've found out a way to, entrust Sam and the rest of the team, the rest of the trainers that she leads with, the monthly themes and implementing them, the weekly protocols and all the intricate training stuff that we have. You're giving up that responsibility to somebody else, which is such a necessary and admirable thing to do as a leader. So, what does it take for maybe trainers listening to this or aspiring trainers, like what does it take to be lead at the best gym in the country?
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about like how I got there because since if that's cool, like, I think it was 2 years ago Summit, there was this thing that you had to fill out of like, you like it, you're good at it, you like it, you're not good at it. It was like a 4 quadrant. I don't know if I've ever told you about this.
It's called the Eisenhower Square is what it's called.
Okay. I don't have the names.
Yeah, Dwight Eisenhower came up with it back in the day, I think. Fact check me on that, people. But that's what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what got me out of training because I realized I liked it and I was good at it, but I couldn't do it all. So what I knew is I had to have the right head trainer to take over and be able to do that part. Like if I wanted to continue to grow and I wanted to continue to grow to be a leader and, help other people and just grow in the franchise, I couldn't continue to be on the floor too.
Yep.
Sam has been head trainer now for 4 years, somewhere in there. And it's amazing because I have someone, she knows exactly how we would onboard. We have all the processes in place. But that's challenging sometimes handing over. That's a huge, job to hand over, but like, I trust her. I trust her wholeheartedly with the brand, and with onboarding trainers and making sure our bench is always strong. Because, we always want to make sure who would we have be a trainer next if, like that's so important.
Yeah. Part of upholding the standard, right?
Yeah.
It's like, in order to be awarded the Mark of Excellence, that means every camp, every day, every trainer, everyone in Child Watch, everyone at the front of the house, everybody on the floor, we all have to have that same same standard of excellence. And that's what I think a great culture is. So many cultures, you see this, right? So many organizations have a culture that's predicated on, like, I call it the sticker culture, where it's like just a bunch of core values on like a sticker or a pamphlet or the front of a trifold or something. But when you go underneath and you actually experience what it's like to be in those shoes for a day or two or a week or a month, it's nothing like it was advertised as, right? It's like a deep fake, and, to be able to have Sam come in and really lead the way over the last couple of years has, I'm sure, been truly a treat for you.
Yeah.
Knowing that you just gave trust to somebody and they held on to it, and their integrity blossomed the trust, and
for sure.
And now you're here. So what's different now that you're not on the mic full time? What's the day in the life? I know the team was here doing a vlog with you and kind of following you around Naples, Florida. Explain that a little bit. Like, what's the day in the life? And as you have experienced success, you worked your absolute tail off to get here, and a sign of a business is that it gets a little bit easier, and you're doing a little bit better as it gets easier. So how has your time evolved? How has your day-to-day evolved?
I mean, so right now I'm in the process of actually putting an office at my house, because we don't have an office in the gym. So that way I have a space to like have a whiteboard and draw and like just have that that more creative side of my brain come out. It doesn't happen in here when it's like, you have 50 people in a camp and the music's blaring. I'm like, my mind's not there. So that's changed a little bit. I would say, I don't know where else you want me to go with that.
No, just so you're more focused on working on the business.
Yes, versus in it. I mean, I will say for me, I do miss being on the floor.
Yeah.
I miss the connection you have with the members. You get to know, I knew every person's name. I knew their kids' names. I knew, what they did for a living. I knew what their goals were. I will say that part is hard when, I don't have as much of that, because I'm not on the floor 20 hours a week, 30 hours a week when I was.
Right.
But I do know that I'm able to be a better boss, a better leader, to all of them, and be there for them when they need something. Because I couldn't do that doing all the jobs. My hands are in too many pots.
Right. And so do you guest train still? Do you come in and run the camp every now and then?
Gosh, you're going to it's going to blow up if you say that.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you back on the mic.
I told Morgan, I was like, I don't know that I would be that good anymore.
No, I think you'd still be excellent. What's, maybe you can touch on Sam Ray's story just a little bit, because that is one that we have a full podcast on. Yeah. And we're going to go much deeper on that. But like, just from your perspective, with her story, it's inside of the burn book. You're one of the 14 locations that's featured in the burn book. And, her story is really powerful. So share just a little bit of that from your perspective. And then, if there's any other members that come to your mind, maybe we can share a couple stories. If not, that's okay too. Because I'm kind of putting you on the spot with that question. It's no big deal, but you just have such an impact on the floor. We're cut from the same cloth in that regard of like, we love it on the floor. And it's like, that connection, the transformation, the empowerment that comes from having a mic on and being able to impact people in such a deep way. Like, there's stories you just never forget because you are just such an intricate part of it. I
mean, I will say, so Sam Ray, she has had cancer 3 times. She's, I would say, maybe a little bit younger than me. She has two little girls, one. And when you just think about the ultimate human, you think of her. Mm-hmm. She's just such, I don't even have words because she's that great. Mm. So I remember sitting here on this floor and we had got done training at camp and her knee was bothering her. And she's like, yeah, I went to the doctor and I have cancer. She goes, but it's not a big deal. I've had cancer before. It'll be fine. I'm going to go get chemo. I have to do a full knee replacement. Not a big deal, right? So I'm like sitting there like, hold it together, Holly. Like, oh my gosh, how do you take that news, But she wasn't worried. Like, she had so much grace and like confidence that she was going to be okay. And she's like, yeah, I'll probably lose my hair. Not a big deal. I'll have the surgery. She hit 250 camps that year while getting chemo. in the hospital.
Wow.
I like don't think I've ever hit 250.
You're a trainer.
And I'm a trainer. Like
Yeah.
I remember like we would message her and she's like, yeah, the nurses just can't believe that I'm still working out. I mean, we didn't have Burn on Demand then. That was when we were actually taping or filming our own stuff in the gym. And she was just doing those workouts online. I mean, she had her own little bands, her own little dumbbells in the hospital. And I can't wait to read her whole story because, to be honest with you, I don't think that she's someone that would probably have opened up and talked about it. But I think it's going to be so empowering for Burn Nation to hear.
Yeah, me too. And we have a full podcast with Sam Ray that Morgan is doing an interview on, and I just cannot wait
Me neither.
for people to hear it. One of the 14 stories that we do tell in the book from 14 different locations from all walks of life, and each one is just extremely powerful and just shows the impact that when you're a leader who is, I guess, I don't know where it comes from. Maybe it's a God thing. You're just obsessed with the progress that you see inside of people mentally, physically, emotionally. It's like, that's your calling, that's your pull. That's what makes you fulfilled. That's what makes you happy. Just to see Sam be so like ingrained into this culture, you know, it has to have a big effect on her.
Yeah. She shows up every
mentally
day,
and emotionally, and
4:45 every day.
Every day.
I mean,
is she gonna be here tomorrow for the camp, by the way?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
She's taking 7. Yeah,
Okay,
she'll be
good.
there.
Okay, that sounds good.